Good evening and welcome to UTC Warrington's Sixth Form Virtual Open event. My name's Chris Hatherall. I'm one of the assistant principals at the UTC and I'm also head of Sixth Form. Next slide, please. So just a few housekeeping notes before we get started. If I could just ask that you keep your microphones and cameras disabled throughout the course of the presentation. There's an opportunity for you to ask questions in the Q&A box. I'd encourage you, please do take the time to fill that in. We're more than happy to answer questions at the end of the presentation. We're expecting to finish around 6:30 this evening, so do make yourself comfortable. I hope you find this evening's information really useful. If you forget to ask us a question at the end of the presentation, then please do drop us a line at info@UTCW and we'll get back to you in a timely fashion. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about UTC Warrington. So we're in our 5th year of operation now. We're located in the centre of Warrington Town Centre, so right next to the bus station and not far from Warrington Central train station. So we've got fantastic transport links. We've always been sponsored by Manchester Metropolitan University, and we also work with a number of other regional universities. We've got, I'll do that bit again. Can you chop and change, Liz, if I start that slide again? I'll just keep going. So just a little bit about UTC Warrington. We're in our 5th year of operation. We're sponsored by Manchester Metropolitan University. We also work with a number of regional universities. We also have over 50 industry partners, including some global brands like Fujitsu, Jacobs Engineering, Atkins, Mott MacDonald, and Sellafield Limited. We've got over £1 million worth of specialist equipment on site, and we've also recently added to that with over £100,000 investment of additional IT and computers equipment. We offer a very personalised and tailored curriculum for outstanding student support, and some of our students go on to some of the best destinations, some really high quality apprenticeship destinations and some fantastic university destinations as well. Next slide, please. So as you can see, I've mentioned we've got over £1 million worth of specialist facilities. We've got engineering resources over 5 stories. We've also got some fantastic science and cyber security equipment facilities for our students to access. Our students have access to mechanical engineering workshop, prototyping facilities, and our cyber hub, which is supported by one of our industry partners, Fujitsu. Next slide, please. So you're now going to see a showcase film that will give you a little bit more about the UTC in operation. Here's some of our staff and some of our existing students.
This is UTC Warrington.
This is UTC Warrington.
This is UTC Warrington.
This is UTC Warrington.
This UTC was built in response to a skills commission that identified a need for a workforce, an engineering workforce, locally in Warrington and further afield, and out of that the idea of having a university technical college was born.
I chose to come to the UTC because I wanted a more professional environment in a school to prepare me for the workplace.
At first I was sceptical when I first was thinking about joining, because joining a new school is quite scary, but as soon as I stepped in, it just felt warmth and felt like it was a nice place to be in.
You're not stuck in a classroom all day, every day. The learning is different, you're in the workshops, every day is different. For me, the support of the school, of everybody in the school, has been second to none.
In addition to the core curriculum that you would study in a normal school, what we also offer is the opportunity to specialise in science, engineering, certain cyber pathways. So we work with employers and higher education to look at what the need and the skills gaps are for the opportunities that are available, and we sort of backtrack that so that our curriculum is tailored directly to what they need. Some of our students are completely transformed in their time here because they have the benefit of all of those extras in addition to the core curriculum that you would get in a standard school.
We get to take the students in the workshop, using the lathes, the milling machines, and then they'll manufacture 2 items. And with that, we can also teach them CAD, which is a separate unit, but it's giving them more skills. We have students who go to Stanley and actually assess how they are following quality assurance procedures in their factory, so they can then apply it to their unit.
I'm currently doing work experience with NMCN. We're currently creating pipe work for a water treatment facility.
I've secured an apprenticeship to start at Boeing to do aircraft maintenance in January. That'll involve going to Cardiff for a year studying at the ICAT Centre, a year at Scotland working on military planes, and then a year at Gatwick working on commercial planes.
The main difference about UTCs is the engagement that they have with employers is unparalleled and really gives them a flavour for real life work experience they wouldn't get anywhere else.
It's different because you get more of a one-to-one basis with your teachers. It does give everyone that opportunity to actually shine.
So the construction and built environment course, the students get to work with drawing boards manually. They also use things like AutoCAD and BIM software before transferring that over to some VR headsets where they can walk through the buildings, etc. that they model.
I just enjoy the fact that I can draw and just let my mind out of what I can do, and it can turn into something really important, could turn into like a business or something when I'm older.
We work with employers in a variety of different ways. We've recently been adopted by Balfour Beatty in conjunction with the Digital Built Environment Award that we're running, and this involves us liaising with them. They'll help deliver some of the lessons.
We work with employers, especially in computing, where we've been working predominantly with Fujitsu. As well as that, we've been doing a project with the sixth formers called Operation Innovation, where they've had to come up with a new artificial intelligence or robotics solution for the world of healthcare or education. In Key Stage 5, we're able to select the pathway that they go down. So we've been able to introduce cybersecurity with the students, we've been able to introduce networking, and it's a lot more hands-on.
If I was to do A-levels, I would do a more theoretical side of things, and I think I enjoy the practical side a lot more, working hands-on with computing equipment and stuff like that.
One of the great benefits of having such close ties with our employer partners is the investment that's provided. So the specialist equipment that we have here is second to none and will not be found in any other institute in the Northwest.
I really like science because I like to get to know how everything works.
I've chosen healthcare because I've been helped in the past with stuff and I've just took an interest in it, and I want to help people the exact same I've been helped, because I want to go into either nursing or go into psychology, and so it's perfect, to be honest.
In terms of the pathways within the science faculty, at Key Stage 5, this essentially branches into 2, the applied science route and the health and social care route. We've had an increase in the number of students showing keen interest in employment within the healthcare sector. We're looking to adopt that course strongly from September.
There is nothing like this near where I live, and it just had so many opportunities that I couldn't turn down.
The teachers, they send you all materials, or they send you any work experience that's put out online to make sure you're pursuing your aspirations.
Teachers are amazing, all the lessons are amazing. Everyone that comes in, comes out, employers and everyone. It's just amazing, really.
If you feel like joining UTC, all I can do is tell you do it, because honestly it'll be your best decision you make.
So I hope you enjoyed that short video. We're now going to go back to the PowerPoint presentation, and there's going to be a slide on an overview of our curriculum. So just to quickly take you through that. So as you would have picked up from the video, we've got 4 main pathways that we offer at the UTC. So we have a construction and the built environment course. We've got healthcare and applied science. We've got engineering. And then we've got a digital pathway or a cyber or computer science pathway. Okay, and all of those are supported by a wide-ranging enrichment program. And the key thing that underpins everything we do at the UTC is our employer support. Next slide, please. So the construction and built environment pathway. Construction is such a broad field. There's lots of fantastic opportunities going up across the UK at the moment. We work with a number of large construction businesses who operate not just in Warrington but across the northwest. There's an opportunity to complete a couple of courses, a civil engineering qualification and then a qualification called BIM, or Building Information Modelling. So the course gives you the opportunity to learn about construction technology, lots of different construction principles and techniques, and then design buildings as well. So we've got students who are working on a variety of different occupations and applications at the moment. Students progress on to architecture degrees. Other students decide they want to go straight into industry, and they get some really high status apprenticeships with some fantastic business partners that we have. Next slide, please. So healthcare and applied science, we've got a well-established applied science program of study, and then this year we're introducing the opportunity to specialise in healthcare occupations. Obviously, the current situation we find ourselves in globally, there's huge demand on that sector, and there's two fantastic healthcare trusts that operate within Warrington that offer a fantastic opportunity or a range of opportunities for students to progress onto from apprenticeship upwards. In addition to that, we've got students who go on to do healthcare and medical related degrees at university, and that's the sorts of things that we encourage the students to study. So you can see there some of the topics. Some of the topics are much broader than what's listed there, but you can see health and social care, medical physics applications, biomedical science, some of the topics that we cover under that program of study. Next slide, please. Engineering. So the engineering program is well established. We've got some fantastic partners, as I said right at the start. It was established by some of the businesses that operate in the nuclear sector in Warrington, and it's grown year on year to go beyond that. So we are the go-to institution for a number of employers who are looking for well-skilled individuals to move into their apprenticeship programs. Our engineers do a general engineering program, so by that they study the principles of engineering alongside mechanical, electrical and electronic engineering activities and occupations, and you can see there some of the topics that they cover. So they learn about design and manufacturing. Computer-aided design underpins everything we do. Digital engineering is a big activity that we're moving into, so the development of resources that can be studied and utilised using VR headsets or virtual reality headsets. It's a big thing that we're working with at the moment with our students. Next slide, please. So digital again is one of those subjects that underpins a lot of the things that we're involved in. So we have some students who are interested in sort of creative aspects of cyber and digital occupations, and other students who are more traditional programmers or coders. So you can see some of the activities that we've got listed there that are covered in the program of study. We've got some fantastic business partners. Fujitsu are one of our core technology providers and business sponsors, and then alongside that we've got a number of organisations that work in the cybersecurity sector that support some of the engineering businesses that we work with, and they're all looking for individuals that are well qualified and have practical experience that the UTC can offer, have the relevant work experience that the UTC can offer, and then there's a fantastic range of occupations that you can progress onto, whether you want to go on to further study, an apprenticeship or university. The UTC is well placed to support you with that. Next slide, please. So I'm just going to hand over to another video which has got some of our students talking about their experiences, and then I've got a colleague of mine, Dave, that I'll introduce, who's going to talk about the support that our students get from a pastoral point of view. So we're going to have a look at some of the students now.
I was looking for colleges around. My mum found UTC, and I had a look at the reviews, and I found it was the best one near me, and it had a really good reputation for further careers after you finished your A-levels or BTECs.
And in year 12, because they had loads of different opportunities available, not just with the equipment they have, but working with different companies and businesses.
Study a BTEC in engineering, level 3 diploma. that was the one that best suited me, because I didn't feel I should have done A-levels. So I went more down a practical route. So that best suited me.
I picked to do engineering, and I enjoy more of the creative units, like the designing and the making, because I've always loved thinking about what products I could make to help someone, or just trying to change something to make it better. Before Christmas, I was doing some work experience with NMCN, and they taught us how to do AutoCAD 3D, which was really interesting because we don't get to use that in our lessons. So that was fun, and like learning about how their company works was interesting as well.
I've worked with Airbus on some work experience, so we did online lessons. We had to do different PowerPoint presentations and send them in to them to be marked. At the end, you get a certificate of verification and all that. There's lots of equipment at the UTC. The whole floor, bottom floor, is dedicated to it. There's lathes, laser cutters, plasma cutters. There's even a forge as well, which is I find pretty cool. I hope to go into a degree apprenticeship with some sort of aerospace company. My teacher said that would be probably the best route to go down because of my academic abilities.
Well, I'm hoping to get a degree apprenticeship because I want to go to uni, but I want to have a job alongside, so I think it would suit me perfectly. And I want to be able to get a job with a company and be able to work my way up. To do design engineering, I'll go into aerospace.
So I'm just going to pass over to my colleague Dave, who's one of our sixth form learning mentors, who's just going to talk about the pastoral support that we've got on offer at the UTC for you.
Thanks, Chris. Hi guys, so my name's Dave. I'm the sixth form mentor at UTC Warrington. At UC Warrington, obviously we look after more than just the academic side of student lives. We look after sort of everything as a holistic approach. So let me just talk you through some of the pastoral offer at UTC. So obviously they've got me, I'm the learning mentor. I'm the one-stop shop for all the support needs of the sixth form. I work closely with the SENCO, the head of sixth form, and PAT tutors, I'll explain who they are later, to identify barriers to learning and put any support plans in place for our students. So the PAT tutors, or personal academic tutors, every student has got a personal academic tutor, which operates a bit like a form tutor, but does a lot more work with the students. So they're highly experienced members of staff that will have regular meetings with the students. They'll offer one-to-one support and again, help identify those barriers to learning, help with attendance, academic performance, and sort of making sure everybody's on target. They'll also deliver a PSHE program where they'll cover various topics such as online safety, drugs and alcohol, and the kind of things you'd expect from a PSHE program. We also offer a bursary support package, so every student will be entitled to sort of apply for a bursary as they join. You might be entitled to some financial support. You just fill out a form and then our finance people will sort of work out if we can help. This can take many forms, such as like assistance with transport. We do have students coming from as far as Rochdale and Stockport who might need some help with their sort of train fares and such. We offer a lot of support around UCAS applications, so we like to start these early in the autumn term. And obviously the biggest part of any UCAS application is writing the personal statement. We have a 3-step system where at least 3 members of staff will have looked at their personal statement before it's approved for quality assurance. So initially it'll be their personal academic tutor will have a read of it, make some edits. Then it'll be myself and the other learning mentors who will have a read of it and sort of again make some edits. And finally it'll go to Chris, the head of sixth form, who will sort of give the final sort of send off before we send it off to UCAS to be approved. And this way, especially with this year, with a lot of exams being cancelled, personal statements do carry a lot of weight for students' UCAS applications. We also have masterclasses with local universities. We'll have people from local universities such as MMU, Liverpool, John Moores, who will come in. They'll deliver assemblies. They even help teach some of our units for our engineering courses. And they'll come in and they'll encourage students to sign up. They'll give an idea about different types of courses that the students can take part in. And generally, we do get a massive influx of applications to universities off the back of these masterclasses that the local universities provide. We also make sure we set up our students with wide ranges of work experience. Now, obviously this year with coronavirus, it's been a bit different. A lot of these work experience opportunities have been virtual and online, but both ourselves and the various employed partners have responded really well to that. We've managed to have every single student in the sixth form this year, despite everything that's gone on, have taken part in various work experience programs. We've had the whole of sixth form off timetable doing a week's work experience with Network Rail, for example, where they were helping them sort of devise, solve some of the issues created by the HS2 program that they're working on at the moment. And, you know, they were coming up with a route for it that wouldn't go through too many built up settlements and such, and the students responded to that really well, despite the Network Rail employees not physically being able to be with them. As I say, we push work experience very hard. We're very flexible with students if they need to take time off to take part in work experience opportunities that either we've sourced for them or that they've sourced themselves, because we understand that actually it is the biggest part of getting a career after college or after university is having relevant work experience within the sector. And we've got a massive advantage with the employee partners that we have, constantly updating us with work experience opportunities and apprenticeship opportunities that that students can sign up for. Also, we have a system similar to our UCAS personal statement system for applications, sort of cover letters, CVs, application to apprenticeships, where at least 3 members of staff will have had a look at any of these applications before we send them off, to make sure that, again, our students have the best chance of getting accepted onto the role that they want. And finally, we have a wide range of enrichment programs, so a lot of student and staff-led clubs and activities after school and at lunchtimes. We offer Duke of Edinburgh, and students can start, and even if students don't have their bronze yet, we offer them the opportunity to get their bronze award when they start with us in year 12. CCF is massive at our college. So CCF is the combined cadet force. We have a lot of our students engage with the cadet force. They've got the opportunity to rise through the ranks, to go on residential programs, to train younger cadets when they get to year 13, because we start CCF as young as year 10. In that vein, the Royal Navy Challenge, we take part in that every year. So for example, this year, some of our students designed a robot designed to help provide humanitarian aid to victims of natural disasters, which went really well, and we got a lot of praise for our students who took part in that. And then finally, we encourage all of our year 12s to take part in the National Citizenship Programme. We've had a massive intake for it this year, and I'll now hand over to a video provided by the Warrington Youth Club, who will explain more about NCS and how it can really benefit all the students who take part in it.
I'm Corinne Quayle. I work for Warrington Youth Club on the NCS team, and we have a great working relationship with UTC. The sixth form can get involved with our autumn NCS programme. Now, for those that aren't aware or don't know or kind of forgot, NCS has 3 parts. There's the residential, obviously COVID permitting, there's workshops, and the social action part. Now, all these phases and kind of parts of NCS are aimed to challenge students in a variety of different ways. For example, the residential is aimed at developing teamwork, communication, problem solving, by offering students a chance to try new adventurous activities, things like rock climbing, inflatable canoes, loads of different things going on there. The workshops are designed to allow students to add to the CV, particularly anyone that's going for jobs, apprenticeships, and even university, because NCS is recommended and supported by UCAS, so they want you to write about it in your personal statements. The final phase of the programme will allow students to plan and deliver a social action project. So this is kind of helping them support and kind of the community, but also there isn't a job that they're going to go on to do that NCS can't help and support with. Other opportunities include things like they can get involved with our local action group, That's if they're wanting to work with the community and businesses on a more kind of long term, then that's what they can do. There's also our Buddy Up programme, which is our befriending programme for children and young adults with additional needs. Work closely with a lot of employers, and we cater for kind of the courses that you're doing. So we work with employers such as Amazon, Vimto, Here Construction, Jacobs Construction, not the crackers, Faithful and Gould, which are like help build the big tall structure that you see in Dubai, like the ship tall structure. And students get to, again, learn from the people that are doing these sort of careers on a day-to-day basis. So you learn from them employers. NCS is a fantastic programme to prepare students for working life by giving them a lot of transferable skills. This is good for two reasons. One, it can help them talk about stuff in interviews, so it can help them make the students stand out and say, this is why you should pick me over everyone else coming from that interview. But it also gives them the skills that when they do land that job that they want, that they can use all these different skills that they've now got and develop into kind of the working world. NCS will open many doors for students if they want it to. For example, through skills young people have shown through their time on NCS, they've been given amazing opportunities, such as work experience with the managing director of Vimto, work experience at Vodafone with product managing, placements in product design, different things like that. Also, we've had a young person or a few young people land their dream job of working with the police, and they've said the skills that they learn on NCS help them land that dream job, but also they use their skills on a day-to-day basis that they've come across as well.
Thanks, Dave and Corinne. That's really useful information. I think you can probably tell by the tone of this presentation, one of the UTC's real strengths is its partnership with employers, and you know, every year we continue to strengthen those relationships, and our students go on to some fantastic destinations. So we've got some more information now from some of our employing partners.
My name is Sarah Power. I'm Talent for Care Programme Facilitator at Bridgewater Community Healthcare Foundation Trust. We are a community foundation trust. We deliver a range of health services in Warrington, in Holton, in Oldham, in a number of different boroughs in the northwest. Our headquarters are in Warrington. We recently relocated there last year. We also have a dental network that spans quite a wide geography across the northwest. And yeah, we're focused on providing quality health services and person-centred care. We were connected through a shared network. When we moved our head office to Warrington, we made a bit of an effort to kind of connect with the local schools and further education colleges, and Warrington UTC really stood out. Their ethos and their values and their ideal of preparing students with these employability skills that we're looking for. As we're trying to grow our apprenticeship offer as an organisation, we're trying to make more opportunities to externally recruit apprentices and grow our own, if you like. And I think what we're looking for matches very much with what Warrington UTC are trying to prepare their students. They're actively seeking our opinion on what we're looking for and shaping their curriculum and their learning activities around that. And I think that can only be a positive for us as a local employer.
So Fujitsu is an organisation started in the 1930s. We were originally specialising in communication devices. We're pretty influential in the development of the communication infrastructure across Japan. Obviously, as computers became part of modern society, we moved into that space in the mid-1950s, And then in the 1990s, we developed what Fujitsu referred to as a network-centric era, which is that everything at that time was revolving around the network, and it was all about how to keep people together, keep people communicating, and the network and the internet was seen as the main basis of that communication. Obviously, since sort of the 2000s now, we've got a far more connected world with the internet and the Internet of Things, and people now usually have multiple devices, and Fujitsu have sort of brought this all together now and refer to this as the Human-Centric Intelligence Society, which is very much empowering people. So what do we do with the UTC? We've hosted the UTC Warrington in our Warrington offices on a number of occasions now. They've come over to see the Advanced Threat Centre. We've put them with some of our technical teams so that they can get an idea of the sorts of things that our technical guys get involved with on a day-to-day basis. But one of the things that we wanted to get, we set up, and it was a brainchild of Rob Norris, who was the head of cybersecurity at the time. He created a cyber group, which was effectively bringing in service providers like ourselves. So we had IBM, Capgemini, we had cyber organizations, and we also had security technology vendors, so the likes of Palo Alto, Symantec, Cylance, to come in, get together and look at how we could help the UTCs by working and partnering with individual UTCs. So at the moment, Fujitsu are partnered with Warrington and Bolton, and that there with a view to providing you with specialised learning content, and the result of that being the creation of a pipeline of security talent.
So I'm Emily. I'm a civil engineer for Stantec, who are an international, they're an international construction company. We're based in Canada, but we do have a lot of offices in the UK. There is a office in Warrington. There's also an office in Manchester. So what is a civil engineer? If you keep skipping through, there's some more pictures to come up. All of these images, there we go, that you can see on the screen, these are all things that are designed by civil engineers. So bridges, motorways, everything you see here is designed by civil engineers. So if you went down to Warrington in the centre of the city and looked around you, civil engineers would have influenced everything there. One of the common questions that I get asked is, what is the difference between a civil engineer and an architect? So just to make it very clear, an architect designs the functionality and the aesthetics of a project. Often they're involved with buildings, might be involved with bridges as well, whereas a civil engineer is designing the more technical aspects, and also we're designing how to keep things safe and how things will be built on site. So that is the key difference. Civil engineering is more technical and architecture is more about the aesthetic. Stantec has done quite a lot of work with the UTC since they opened in 2016. We've offered many events and we've hosted many events, even from assemblies to full year groups to learning events with partner organisations. One of the greatest achievements with the college to date was the creation of a cascade mentoring system. So our graduate engineers held training sessions with the UTC students, both in the UTC and at our Warrington offices. We train the students to be able to deliver a programme of STEM activities. So STEM is science, technology, engineering and maths, kind of grouped all together. And that was for primary age children. We then we set up a STEM club at a local school, and we received some really positive feedback from all those involved. It was a really great achievement for the school students. Also, we worked with WaterAid to tailor and develop a humanitarian and disaster relief programme to the UTC students, and this was run over a 2-month course.
I'm the apprenticeship scheme manager for the Science and Technology Facilities Council, and we're part of United Kingdom Research Innovation, or UKRI. It's supporting UTC's mission statement, which is that they're wanting to equip young people with the relevant skills to work within engineering and other areas and computing. So what we want to do is be able to support those learners with understanding how you can apply that knowledge in lots of different ways, because engineering is a very, very big subject area. One of the things we can do is supporting with projects, so we can provide some expert insight into various projects that we're doing. Part of it is about enabling young people to understand what we do as an organisation, and therefore the skills we need for people to come and work within our organisation.
So you've heard from some of our employer partners there. I think, you know, perhaps one of the most challenging things for young people and their parents to understand is the breadth of organisations that the UTC works with. Some of those companies are perhaps brands that you've not even heard of. There's a number of organisations that we work with and that are desperate for young people to consider them as a potential sort of progression opportunity. And one of the challenges is getting young people to appreciate the opportunities that are there. So the UTC's got a fantastic success in securing positive destinations for its sixth form students. Unbelievably, I suppose, nationally, only 5% of 18-year-olds will go on to apprenticeships, and that figure pretty much stays the same each year if you look at other sixth form colleges, FE colleges and so on. At UTC Warrington, we've had tremendous success. You can see there from the stats that 100% of our students move on to positive destinations, and then in 2019 38% of the students progressed on to a degree or high status apprenticeship, and that figure is pretty much in the 30s every year since we've been open, you know. So we've got some fantastic opportunities for students. This year you've heard some of the businesses that students have worked with to date. We mentioned Network Rail, Jacobs, Balfour Beatty is another big employer in the region that we've worked with. We're currently developing a work experience program with the Northern Nuclear Alliance, which has got a range of businesses that are involved in the nuclear industry, not just in the UK, but globally. So our students have access to some world experts in their field, and that gives them the confidence to go and apply for opportunities in those businesses, either at higher or degree apprenticeship level. If we can go to the next slide, please. So you can see here some of this year's destinations where students have moved on to and the types of courses. So you've got, there's a bit of an aeronautical theme. We've got quite a lot of students. Whilst Warrington isn't necessarily next to an airport, we have quite a lot of students who go on to study that at a higher level. You would have heard from Ollie, who got an apprenticeship with Boeing, but you can see there some students move on to aircraft and aeronautical engineering programs of study at university, chemical engineering, computer science, cybersecurity, mechanical engineering, all STEM related occupations. And you can see on the right hand side some of the employers that have recently taken on some of our students, and we're busy recruiting for our current crop of year 13 students, and we're looking forward to continued success and them securing some fantastic opportunities this year despite the challenges that are going on. So next slide then, please. So there's an opportunity now for you to hear from some of our alumni, so we'll just let that play.
I chose to move because the optionals I had at my last school wouldn't allow me to do all the DT and sciencey subjects I wanted to do. I was forced to pick a humanities and to compromise on what I actually wanted to do. So moving to UTC just allowed me to not make any compromises and follow what I wanted.
For me, there was sort of three things. There was the networking, the opportunities that it gave us, and the hands-on working.
I joined in year 10 because of the GCSEs that were offered and because of the connections with employer partners.
So So I'd probably say working with the employers, the opportunities that it gave me and helped me develop for the sort of role I'm in today. That the opportunities were second to none, and also the student experience as well. You were treated more like an adult opposed to a normal college environment where you go in and do your lessons and go home. There was that support network there to help you.
So in year 10, I was able to do a couple weeks of like a workshop with Fujitsu, and me and another guy who was chosen were able to build servers with one of the like lead managers there. That was pretty fun. We got to like construct the servers, we got like wire maps to get everything right, and then we uploaded an operating system to it and different programs in a virtual machine.
In year 10, I did a project with Sellafield about like underground storing nuclear waste, and ended up doing a presentation at UTC with Sellafield and students, and then I got work experience with Sellafield, and then in year 12 I got work experience with Alpha Beta and with Atkins.
I'm studying computer science degree at Edinburgh University. We're currently doing something called functional programming, which is quite different to the usual programming styles, which is like usually like a list, like a cooking instructions, whereas functional is a bit more abstract, but it's fun to learn either way.
So now I'm working as a project management apprentice at Cavendish Nuclear. So as I previously said, I did an engineering apprenticeship, but the next path for me was really to move into the nuclear industries where I always wanted to go and move into project management. So my role currently consists of managing a series of projects and working through placements, and the placements can be local to Warrington, which is where I live, or it can be across the UK.
At the minute, I'm doing a degree in civil engineering at the University of Exeter. At the moment, I'm doing one of my modules is a group project, and it's about LiDAR, which is like 3D scanning rooms and things. We have to come up with a company and then present it as if like a Dragon's Den pitch to investors, and then we get the marks off how much they'd be willing to invest and things.
So I'd say the UTC sort of gave me an early insight of what I wanted to do. They allowed me to try out different career paths, and instead of sort of going to the university route, it allowed me then to go into the apprenticeship knowing that I wanted to do project management going forward. So it sort of cut out the next 4 years of academic studies for me, and I was able to learn and earn, as I was told when I first heard about apprenticeships, from the age of 18 opposed to from the age of, say, 22 on a graduate scheme.
So you heard from some of our former students there. You can see that they've elected to do different pathways in different programme studies. So a couple of our students there at university, and then George, who still operates in the sort of Warrington area. He's a big advocate for nurturing future talent. So we do quite a lot of work with George. He's been through the UTC and experienced it as a sixth form student, and then he comes back in and provides some of his knowledge and expertise to our current crop of students studying the UTC to try and support them into making the right choices about their future destinations. There's an opportunity now for you to ask any questions that you might have. Dave and I will do our best to answer them. If we're not able to answer them, then we can always contact you sort of following the presentation. So Liz, have you got any questions that have been posted whilst the presentation's been on?
I have, yes indeed. So thank you to everybody for participating in our event so far, and please keep your questions coming. It's really important that you use this opportunity to ask whatever it is that you want. So first question about the sixth form is, what are the start and end times of a day, of an average day?
So that's it, generally speaking. So our hours of operation at the UTC were open from in non-COVID times from 8:30 in the morning through to around 5 o'clock in the afternoon. Now, depending on the programme of study that the student's studying, there might be one day where those students are in all day. There may be the opportunity for them to spend a day with an employer. Following day, they may only be in for a morning session. So it depends on the qualification they're studying, the range of qualifications they're studying, and then what their timetable would displayed. But we would expect students to be in as full-time students, so we don't offer any part-time courses. All of our students are full-time students, and that's one of the things that attracts our employers, is because they know that they're going to be taking on young people that are used to working a full working week.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hatherall. So next question is, you've said that there are two different routes. You can do a purely vocational route, or you can do a combined route. And I'm just wondering, this person's asking about how would you know which to choose? How do you decide? Well, I should do just an extended diploma, or I actually should do an option of a diploma and some A level. So how does that work?
Yeah, that's a really, really good question. Now, once the students applied to join the UTC, that will then put the UTC staff into action. So some of the work that we do between now and the start of the academic year is work with our applicants and provide them with additional advice and guidance, and understand fully what they're looking to get out of their UTC experience. So from conversations that they can have with subject specialists, we offer these students the opportunity to do some taster activities. So that may be face-to-face, or it could be virtual, depending on the circumstances in which we're operating. And then that helps any applicants make an informed choice about the courses they want to do. Quite often, you know, the sixth form experience is a narrower one than GCSEs, and it is a difficult decision to make. But, you know, we've got some very experienced staff. We've got existing students that applicants can have access to, and then from that, applicants can make an informed decision about which course or program of study is going to be the right one for them. You know, in the summer term, we would offer the opportunity to participate in some taster sessions so they can fully understand what they're applying for and exactly the type of work and activities that are involved.
Great, thank you. I'm not sure if this is a question for Mr. Alboreto, but a question here about if somebody comes in who maybe needs a bit of extra support, may have some very particular needs, you know, to do with dyslexia or autism or something like that. How does the UTC support in that kind of situation?
So we have a SENCO, an SEND coordinator, who is very experienced in a role. She's called Mrs. Lee. Sadly, she's not with us tonight. And she takes the time to screen every single student that we have coming, every single external student we have coming in year 12, to sort of identify any needs, any barriers to learning, and then there'll be individual plans put in place for every student based on their needs. So we have a lot of students, for example, who we provide access arrangements for exams. So that's extra support around exams, coloured paper or overlays where that's necessary. The list does go on it, but it really does depend. It really is a bespoke package depending on the specific needs of the individual student.
Great. A question about, I know this often preoccupies students entering sixth form, a question about dress. So is it uniform in the UTC sixth form? What's the dress code?
So the UTC is a sixth form. It's not a typical school. We are supported and we were set up by employers. So there is a certain expectation around the dress that students need to wear. A number of our students are doing practical activities, so there is a requirement for them to wear clothing that's appropriate to that. But generally speaking, most of our students on a day-to-day basis would wear business dress. So that's the expectation of the institution. It helps our students model the types of behaviours that our employers are looking for all the time, and it really does make them stand out for the right reasons. So you know, it's one of those things where the UTC, when the UTC was set up, that was a decision, and it's worked really effectively, and we found that it has a positive impact on all of our learners.
It's worth mentioning as well that, for example, that every student will be assigned a locker when they join, or will have a locker available to them if they need it. So any anything that sort of falls outside business dress, so especially in the winter, any coats or hats or anything can be kept inside their lockers, which are incredibly secure. They're very, you have a swipe card similar to this one that operates it, that will assign you the locker, and then no one else can get into it, obviously, and that sort of facilitates a lot of the issues we can have around uniform.
Great, Great, thank you.
Thanks, Dave.
Got a question here, and I'm guessing that obviously this year's been a strange old year and very difficult for students, and we've heard recently, of course, that exams have been cancelled. So how is that going to affect applications for the UTC sixth form? You know, what's the situation then as regards grades and you know, proving that you've got the capabilities and all that kind of thing?
So I'll perhaps answer that one, Liz. Obviously we're in sort of uncharted waters and challenging times as a country. If you are a student who's currently in year 11, then you know what we would do once you've applied, we'll invite you for an interview, whether that's face to face or online. And when we do that, we typically would ask you to present some information from your current institution. So the government's made an announcement around using teacher assessments, and we would be more than happy to honour the teacher assessments that you're being predicted from your current institution. And then if you've got any concerns around not meeting our entry requirements and things like that, we do have the opportunity for a smaller number of students who perhaps don't pass their English or mathematics GCSEs first time round to resit those with us. So what I would say is I would encourage you to apply for the UTC, identify the programme of study that you're interested in, and then we can start the conversation around understanding if you meet the entry requirements, and also letting you know what our expectations would be in terms of your grades in the summer, and then you can have that conversation with your existing institution and understand whether you're going to be successful.
Great, thank you, Mr. Hatherall. So I'm aware that time is pressing here, so we probably ought to be starting to draw to a close. But just a couple more questions, if I may. One that is pretty fundamental, I think. One which is, if obviously students are looking at their options, they might be in an existing school where the obvious choice is to carry on in sixth form, or they might be looking at colleges. So why would I, if I'm interested in, you know, potentially interested in one of our specialist subjects, why would I choose to come to the UTC? How is the UTC different in the sixth form from just a regular school or a regular college?
So that's a really good question. You know, the UTC is a sixth form with purpose. I think you would have heard in the film at the start, we were set up through the identification that workforce demand for the region isn't being met, you know, and we've got a very clear focus about the programs of study we offer and the destinations that they provide for our students. So that's really is what makes us different, is the employers that we work with, the qualifications we offer and the way in which we deliver those qualifications, and then ultimately what that leads to in terms of securing high status apprenticeships, meaningful employment, and progression onto some fantastic university programs. Sorry, Liz, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, I've been joined by a large dog, which is complicating things slightly. Just a question about there is somebody who is currently studying applied science at level 3 and is interested in transferring to the UTC, and I just want to say to that individual, if you can contact us please on info@utcw.co.uk, and then we can discuss your particular situation. Final question, it does relate to applications. So what's the best approach for applying to get in to the UTC, and when should students be doing that?
So applications should be being made now. I wouldn't wait. You know, the worst case scenario is we get courses that are oversubscribed and then we have to set up waiting lists for them. So you can apply directly from our website. There's a very clear button. If you go to the UTC website, you'll find there's a button for apply. If you click apply, fill out the form there, that will then, as I said before, then put the UTC staff into action. So you'll get an acknowledgement that you've applied, and then there'll be an interview, invitation to interview, and then we start the process of having that conversation around identifying the appropriate course for you. answering any further questions you might have about what the offer is at the UTC. If all that goes to plan and you're happy with what we're offering, we're happy with your predicted grades and so on, then what would happen in the summer around results day, you'd have the opportunity to formally get your results from your existing institution, and then you come and enroll at the UTC, and then you would start with us in September. So in between time, there's the opportunity for you to really work out and understand what we're offering, understand what we expect of you, and then take it from there.
That's great. Thank you, Mr. Hatherall. So just to clarify as well, for any who are listening, who are watching at the moment, who might have applied already, what will be the next step for them? When might they hear something? What's the next information point for them?
This term, they'll get an invitation to an interview with a member of staff from the UTC. Obviously, for everyone, this has been an interesting January. So, you know, typically that would have been an invitation to come into the UTC and have a face-to-face conversation. That is still likely to happen at some point when we're allowed to do that. But in the short term, if you just look out for a notification from the UTC just to advise you of next steps. And if you don't hear anything in the next few weeks, then just drop us a line at info@utcw.co.uk and we will make sure that we get back to you. But that's what will happen. Sorry, Liz, you're muted again.
Sorry, I'm just trying to cut down a bit of background noise here. So I brought up the apply screen, and I just wanted to flag up as well. If you look at the events section on our website, you'll see that there are actually a range of events coming up where you can meet different members of the leadership team at the UTC. So there's a meet the principal, meet the head of sixth form, meet the faculty leader for engineering and digital, etc. So there's an opportunity, and those will also be very interactive sessions, more like a meeting, if you like, as opposed to a presentation, certainly the ones where we get to the faculty stage. So if you've got an interest in a particular subject, or you've got some very particular questions you want to ask, then please do sign up for those events. It would be great to see you. So I think we've probably covered everything that we wanted to share tonight, and we've had quite an extensive Q&A session there. So I think I'm just going to thank everybody very much for participating. I'm going to hand over to Mr. Hatherall and Mr. Alboreto now to say final thanks, and then we'll close our meeting for this evening.
Thanks, Liz. Yeah, thank you very much for being with us for the last 55 minutes. As you can see there from the slide, it says about the deadline for applications is the 12th of February. So that's the February half term in sort of academic school terms. I would encourage you to apply sooner rather than later, just to make sure that we've got the relevant information about you. And then, as I said, we can start the conversation about your choices and what it is that you want to join us on the remainder of your education journey. So thank you so much for giving up your time this evening. Stay safe during these challenging times, and we look forward to seeing you again soon in the not too distant future. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys. Have a good evening.